Hey now, PD Grizz here, and once again, I've got another cool knife, so let's check it out. This one clearly is a Swiss Army knife. I mean, obviously, look at it. It's red. It's got the awl. It's missing a bail. It's got a nickel silver pair of tweezers. Kind of odd shaped. They're in the center of the scales rather than on the side. And notice these are all nickel silver. Usually they're a nickel silver head capped on steel tweezers, but they just made these tweezers entirely out of nickel silver. Nickel silver pins, liners, missing washer for the bird's eye rivet over here. Very cool. We've got this inlay Wiss. Very cool. Next up, we've got the 5-turn corkscrew. We've got the awl. I had to straighten this one out. This thing was bent in so far it wouldn't close right, and it just barely got it straight. I felt like I was going to break it trying to straighten it, but I got it done. Let's check out the back. Same thing going on here. Next up, we've got the early Warner style can opener. Very cool. So if this were on a sack, you would expect this to be from the 19th, up as late as 1946, let's say. 1946, they switched over to the lobster claw type can opener. Next up, we've got this interesting looking cap lifter screwdriver. Has this curved, sharpened edge. But this is very reminiscent of what Wenger was doing at the time. Wenger 93 millimeters would have this extended tip to the cap lifter with this curved edge on it, while the 85 millimeters would just have a normal looking cap lifter screwdriver. Next up, we've got a fish descaler. You know, the most popular tool in sack history. I can't think of a day that goes by where I'm not like descaling some perch. You know, it's just great. You know, you're walking down the street, you find a perch, bam, lunch is served. Next up, got a nice little pair of scissors. Note they've got double nail nicks. So you see this on a lot of German knives just because, the scissors might go in multiple different pattern configurations. So, in some patterns, this nail nick might be accessible. In some patterns, it might be covered by another. So then they give you this one. Neat. Next up, we've got, this guy. She's broken. Poor little clip blade. Didn't stand a chance. Somebody did heavy prying with this knife. They used the crap out of it. They pried something seriously hard with this. They pried with this. If you look at this cap lifter, it's got a curve going this way. I've straightened it a little bit, but because this washer's missing and because I don't want to, it's very tight. I don't want to loosen anything up, so I can't, I'd have to pry this way. And where it's bent, I basically got to get the pliers right here to get it to start straighten. So it's just, now that it closes, I'm happy with it. Finally, we've got the main event, the main blade. Of course, she's a little worn down, especially out here from sharpening, but somebody clearly used the crap out of this. Lovely, lovely instrument of stabitude. And we've got Wiss, Germany. Stainless SA3. I don't know what the SA3. I would believe SA is usually a like a company, like a corporate designation, I believe, in Germany. So it's actually a Swiss company. Swiss A it's a Swiss affiliation. Swiss Anonyme, I believe, is the French term for it, but it's basically their version of a corporation. Except, of course, just like in the U.S., you can be registered in one state and use that business elsewhere. So it appears that this has some kind of Swiss connection. What is that Swiss connection? I don't know really, but I could talk about Wiss. Wiss is the reason this brand stood out for me as an electrician. I often noticed that my HVAC brethren in the trades, they always had Wiss tin snips and shears and things like that. Wiss is a company known for making scissors and shears and, you know, double bladed cutting tools, basically. And apparently they used to make knives. But John Wiss was Jay Wiss, I think it's Johannes, but his name's Jay Wiss. Jay Wiss moved from Switzerland to New York in 1830. And in 1848, he started John Wiss and Company. And they started making cutlery and scissors and all that usual stuff. And Mr. Wiss was a knife maker from Switzerland who moved to America. Of course, this was long before the Swiss Army knife existed. I suspect this was made in the 40s, 50s, certainly post-World War II, despite having the very early looks. I think this was just the, they chose to model their knife clearly after the Wenger knives from like, 1940s to 1960, especially when you see this. This is how, like, this is like the thing that sticks out when I'm looking at Wenger knives. This is how I know instantly that it's a 93 and not an 85. So, I mean, this screams Wenger, whatever. The rest of it is heavily Victorinox oriented, but it does have the 4-turn corkscrew, which is what Wenger was using back then. Unlike Victorinox, who went from a 5 to a 4, Wenger went from a 4 early to a 5 later. It's just another little interesting, not so interesting tidbit. It's got great snap, great action. This is just a cool knife, man. I might have to fix up the clip blade. I might have to fix this one up a little bit. I'm thinking about just taking the scaler layer out and making it a 3-layer. But, man, it's so cool. So as somebody from New Jersey, what I think is great about this knife is you got a Swiss immigrant coming to America, to the United States, and using the skills he got working in, knife factories to start his own business. And then he would later, there's his company, of course, this guy was deceased by the time this was made. But, his company went and got it done in Germany. So we've got like a Germany, United States, Switzerland collaboration coming up. So, and this is this you got to look at when you're grading a knife. You got to ignore all the damage done to it by the user, various users, whatever. This knife was extremely high quality when it rolled off the floor. Everything is super tight. It's like it's got the feel of the best Victorinox knives I've had. I'll just put it. It's definitely on par with Victorinox or Wenger. Nice little knife. Notice it didn't have it. They didn't do the toothpick. They just did the tweezers, which I think is interesting. So yeah, Jay Wiss and Sons. They're still in business today. You can still buy their shears and scissors and everything else. And I believe they're still based in Newark, New Jersey. So there you go. And me being a Jersey boy, I think that's pretty neat. Newark, New Jersey, it has a long knifery history. I think Valley Forge Cutlery was based there. I think Boker was based there. Was it Boker? Yeah, I might be wrong. But Boker USA, of course, not Boker Solgen. Different companies. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Petey Grizz out.